we've got Casio Kid Cortez, our first update theme music, a combination of a lot of suggestions. So it is time for a Casio Kid Cortez update.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
She got them realtor eyes. I can always tell by realtor eyes. She got them.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
So we now have Casio Kid Cortez. And this sounds like a really class act, the premiere of the DeSuze and Mero show. Of course, on the very classy Showtime channel. So we can't even play the interview because the two hosts cuss so much, which we can't even play it. But we have enough of her little voice because I think we're starting to realize that Miss Teen South Carolina,
boy, I tell you,
and Casio Kid Cortez, they're the same.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq.
So if you hear that,
where is Iraq? Have we ever located that exactly?
All right, so listen to this. This is where she's talking about nobody should make more than $10 million.
Yeah, she's talking about the 70% tax
and then
rule.
we'll get to her being interviewed about cows breaking wind and that we all eat too much beef.
Yeah, she says 10 million is too much.
And it really comes down to the question of, isn't 10 million enough? Like, when does it stop?
Yeah, when it's too much.
Right?
I personally believe.
I mean, when does it start?
Well, once again, she is trying to dictate how you live, what you do, what you can make. It's none of your business.
Correct.
It's none of the government's business. And she goes on and she quotes, well, you know, we had a 90% tax rate under Republican rule, so what's the big deal? Yeah, that was all pre-Reagan, okay? And we did away with it because it wasn't working. That's why we did away with it. And during that time, when you had that, you also could write off interest on credit cards, interest on cars. It was a move to simplify the tax system. And they did take the top marginal tax rate down, Rick, from 90% in some cases, and I think it went down to about 40%. Mm-hmm. But you did away with all the deductions. It simplified everything. So, look, I understand that on one hand, it looks terribly unfair if somebody makes over $10 million a year. I don't know too many people who make that. Most of them would have to be entertainers or professional athletes and have an exceptionally good year.
Well, I would say a lot of these people would be on the left.
But it's the concept of it. That's not your business. And, you know, here's the thing. If somebody does make $10 million a year, they probably put a lot of money back into the economy. They probably hire people. They buy a lot of stuff. Those companies have to hire people. That's what makes the economy work. It's really not your business to be in that. And she even goes on to talk about we're eating too much hamburger.
Yeah,
with her farting cows.
Here's her quote. And the deal, and we talk about it, and it's true, is that we need to take a look at factory farming, right? You know? It's wild. That's actually what she says. Mm-hmm. And so it's not to say to get rid of agriculture. We're not going to force everybody to go vegan or anything like crazy like that. But let's say, listen, we got to address factory farming. Maybe we shouldn't be eating a hamburger for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, and this is in there, the word let's keep it real. So keep in mind, this is a conversation
AOC.
That you would have like with your college daughter's friends in your home. But this person is a U.S. congressperson. This is a representative.
Rick,
this person's actually on committees that matter.
Rick, it's scary. She's going to be overseeing Wall Street and our banking industry. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
The notorious AOC, what she is missing here You're not a dictator. You're not a dictator. It's none of your business what I eat.
That's the part you didn't
It's
get.
none of your business what I raise and what I want to buy on my land within limits. Hamburgers are not hurting anybody. You're trying to dictate how I live my life. Now, government is there to set up boundaries, and I understand that. That's outlined in the Bible even. Right? But she's just wanting to tell me how I have to live my day every day. It's really none of your business. And again, there was a great story out today. It's by an economics guy, and he says that AOC is an economic illiterate and bad news for America. She's saying, and he even takes her own words of how she was talking about this Amazon deal and says she doesn't even understand the basics. By helping to drive Amazon away, she did not save New Yorkers $3 billion. She cost them $27 billion. See, she doesn't even understand how it works. She doesn't understand the union jobs that would have gone into building that headquarters.
Right.
She doesn't understand the high-tech paying jobs that it would have brought to that community. She was talking about it's going to drive up people's rent. Well, if you own the apartment, that's good. And if you're in that apartment and the rent's going up, that might be good if you get a job there because you can afford that or maybe even a better place. It just spills into the whole neighborhood and helps everybody out, but she doesn't get it. So she ran basically a misinformed mob, defense against this thing, and it caused enough stir that people decided not to do it.
To your point, people could have done exactly what she did. When she got elected and became a representative, she gets $170,000 a year.
Yeah.
So when she got $170,000 a year, she moved to a nicer place.
Yeah.
So these people that live in the housing there, if they had gotten a job with Amazon, they would have been able to either afford and stay where they are when the rent goes up, to your point,
or get a nicer
or
place.
move to a nicer place, just like she did.
Right.
So
that is the American dream, by the way, to move up to whatever level you want to. Not everybody has to live in a mansion, or will they have the opportunity to. But you always have the opportunity to better your situation. Just like we've always said, we always want our kids to have it better than we did. And certainly that can get out of control sometimes. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not a perfect scenario.
Yeah, money's not an indicator of peace and happiness.
No,
but
not at all.
We're just talking about there's people who have no desire to ever and
that's fine.
And live a life that's much more fulfilling than somebody who lives in a big mansion. But that's not for the government to decide.
No, it's not. It's not her job.
That's the free market to decide.
She's trying to play God with people's lives.